स्पोर्ट्स से जुड़ी किसी भी अपडेट के लिए स्पोर्ट्स तक को सब्सक्राइब करें और हमारे फेसबुक और इंस्टाग्राम पेज को भी जरूर फॉलो करें।
भारत और श्रीलंका सीरीज का आगाज होने वाला है। इंटरेस्टिंग रहेगा क्योंकि वर्ल्ड T20 के लिहाज से भारत को भी तैयारी करनी है, उधर से श्रीलंका की टीम इंग्लैंड से हार कर आ रही है, उनको भी तैयारी करनी है। 13 तारीख को पहला मैच है, पहले वनडे मैचेस है, फिर 3 T20 मुकाबले हैं। काफी बवाल मचा हुआ इस सीरीज को लेकर। इस सीरीज के मैच आपको दिखेंगे सोनी के चैनल, सोनी 10-1 जहां पर अंग्रेजी में, सोनी 6 अंग्रेजी में, और अगर आपको हिंदी में कमेंट्री सुननी है तो फिर सोनी 10-3 पर 2:30 बजे पहला मैच है। और मैं आज सीधा आपको श्रीलंका लेकर चलता हूं। फॉर्मर श्रीलंकन ऑलराउंडर Farveez Maharoof is going to be with us, and welcome to this show, Farveez. There's been a lot of talk around the series. I mean, your legend Arjuna Ranatunga did say the other day that it's not good for Sri Lanka cricket that India is sending a second string team. Would you subscribe to those views?
I think if you look at the Indian squad, I think more than half of the team has played for India before, and also with the travel restrictions, with the COVID protocols, the team being in India, if they have come to Sri Lanka, they got to go back to England to play the 5-test series. So I thought, it's a sensible move, and if a team has that leverage of having many players, having a bigger pool, it's a wise way to call, because what you have to understand is the amount of travel has to be restricted, especially with this COVID situation, and also being in a bubble life it's not going to be easy for such a long time. So that's how things has to be moved on as well. I mean, sometimes I think you got to give players a break going out of bubble, because we've seen many players complain about being in a bubble for a long time and how it has affected mentally. So I reckon if a team has that luxury of having a bigger squad and use for white ball and red ball, I think it's a fair call, especially considering the pandemic we are going through now.
So would you agree to the fact that maybe Arjuna's statement was more a target at the Sri Lankan cricket rather than BCCI?
I'm not too sure what he tried to target at, but in my point of view, bigger the squad, it's better for so many reasons. I mean, you have more options when it comes to selection, as well as I said, when it comes to pandemic, with this all bubble, it's lots of new words that we are coming through, especially in the last couple of years. So, I'm not too sure why he said it or whom he said it to, but in all, I feel like if a team has the luxury of using a bigger squad, I think it's time to use it, especially being in a bubble. It's not easy mentally.
Farveez, a far cry from the times you played against India, the Sri Lankan team then and the Indian team then versus the Sri Lanka team now and the Indian team now. I mean, I still remember we would travel a lot to Sri Lanka, get beaten by you guys, and now India can afford to send relatively unknown players and still hope to win the series.
Yeah, I think times have changed a little. I got to admit whether I like it or not. When it comes to, if you take the ICC World Rankings, it shows where we rallying around and where India is, and that's fallen for many reasons. I mean, that's not one particular reason why that's happened, but all I can say is there's so many youngsters coming through, and these boys deserve to get a much longer run. And also, I understand, looking at the past few months' performances, it's not up to the international mark. So that's where the concern is. Because international cricket, you've got to be consistent, whether it be in Test cricket, one day or T20. So consistency has been a big issue. That's why in all three formats, Sri Lanka cricket is rallying around below in the ICC ranking. So lots of work to be done. And also, India has a fantastic setup going forward. I remember, when I played for IPL in 2008, that's the year Virat, Jadeja, all these guys broke through from the under-19 World Cup, and within 13 years span, look at the standards that they have set, and look at the number of players who are running around in the team. So that itself shows how strong the setup is. So Sri Lanka has a lot of things to do. The quicker you do is better, because you can't expect changing a few of the big names. It's been dropped. Youngsters coming through, you just can't expect them to deliver as soon as they come in. They need some time as well. But saying that, it's up to the players to grab the opportunity and go out there and perform.
It's shocking, really, Farveez, because Sri Lanka are yet to qualify for the T20 World Cup. They'll be playing the qualifiers, and maybe then they
Yeah.
qualify for the main tournament. They had a disastrous tour of England as well.
True. As I said, not the rosiest time when it comes to Sri Lanka cricket last few months. I understand playing a qualifying tournament, especially to get qualified in a T20 World Cup. The 3 qualifying games will be high pressure games as well. So, I don't know that feeling because I've never played in a qualifying game. So I can't tell you the exact feeling, but all I can say is guys will be under pressure. Every time they go to the middle when they don't perform the way, looking at the past, it's not going to be easy starting from England tour. It started from England tour. Coming to Indian tour, it's going to be high profile. Everyone's going to be watching whenever India plays. The entire world will be watching, as well as South Africa is due to come down as well. Then the World Cup. So lots of cricket coming through. That's why I said, the players have to put their hands up. Whoever gets the opportunity, go out there, grab it. Simple as that, because there are so many players up for grabs. Apart from 4 players, maximum 5, I could say, in the white ball setup for Sri Lanka, the guys are established themselves. But the rest of the places are still up for grabs because still the experimentation and the youngsters are given a chance. It's not been picked up. So that's a bit of a worry. So as I said, it's up to the players to put their hands up now.
And the series, if you look at the Indian team, even though there are quite a few names not there, obviously, because they are in England, yet you look at the Indian squad. You think India right now is the best team in the world?
I think it's a close call between few teams. If I take England as well, England, India, for me, in my opinion, deserves in all 3 formats. To be honest, you can take New Zealand as well for a certain extent. Those 3 teams are up there, then followed by Australia. Then the others can rally around. So I think it's India. India has a good chance to be the number 1. They recently lost the World Championship, Test Championship. And, if you take it, just moving away to that championship, New Zealand did the homework by playing 2 test matches and going to the most important test match with some cricket behind them. So that was, for me, that was the biggest difference. Whereas India, they were in a bubble for about 20 days. They played inter-squad among them. And going to a high pressure game as such in the final, New Zealand have done their homework. So similarly, all these big teams do their homework properly. That's why they rally around the top 4. So I reckon, answering a question, the top 4 would be those. But India, as always, with the amount of players, amount of the pool, size of the pool, they will always be right up there.
What are your expectations from the series in terms of the Indian players? Who are the ones to watch out for?
There are many players to watch out for. You've got Shikhar Dhawan, established player. I'm excited to see how he's going to captain. He was my teammate. We played together from under 17. I know him very well. First time I'm going to see him captain, so I'm pretty excited to see him how he's going to captain. And you got the Pandya brothers. You got the 2 spin kings of Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav, and then you got the youngsters coming through: Prithvi Shaw, Surya Kumar Yadav, Bhuvi is there, and you got Deepak Char who can swing the ball. Fantastic names. As I said, more than half of the team has played for India, and the other players, even the youngsters in the squad who hasn't played much international cricket, has been exposed to high intensity level of IPL. So I reckon that will stand big ground for those youngsters as well.
One last question, Farveez. I hope you'd be commentating and we'd be listening to your commentary. But
no,
would it be wrong? You're not. Oh.
No, I'm not part of it. No.
Would it be wrong for me to say that if Sri Lanka win 1 game of the 6, it'll be a shock? It'll be an upset?
It's hard to answer that, to be honest. If you ask me honestly, come going into the series, definitely Sri Lanka is underdog, though we are the hosts. That got to be said. Definitely the underdogs with the past form and with all the issues going around outside the team. So I reckon, I'll be surprised if we win the series, if I'm being really honest. But do we have the capability? If you ask me questions such as that, do we have the capability? I think we have the individuals to do it. But just that the confidence has taken a huge deal because of the individual performances. So, when you don't perform and you don't have the confidence, that's where the problem is. So, being a Sri Lankan, it's in my heart. I would love to think our guys are going to go out there and win it. But it's going to be very hard, very hard, very tough. But if we have the capability and we have the players to do it, we definitely have the players to do it. Because if you take the opponents, Indians, most of the players, yes, they are established names when it comes to world cricket, but some of them don't have much experience playing in one-day international cricket. So that's where the experience of Sri Lanka could capitalize there. So you can ask me a question. Sri Lanka has youngsters as well. That's where the home advantage comes in. So that's how I want to look at it. So it's a bit of a puzzle at the moment. Going to a series that's India. It's a high-profile series. Sometimes being underdog is not the worst thing to do, because you lay low and you give a good punch. You never know what you can offer for.
Well, it's also going to be good for the world cricket if Sri Lanka can do well, because for a long time, and since the days you were a member of that team, Farveez, you would also rule the world. I mean, World Cup finals, the World T20s and everything. Thanks for taking the time out. And I really do hope that this series is going to be a close contest between the two teams. And good luck to Sri Lanka for the World Cup also.
Thank you, Vikram. I just hope it's going to be a competitive series. I mean, England series, yes, I understand. It was pretty one-sided.
The conditions also, I think, they matter, because the first half of summer in England is never easy for the subcontinent teams.
It did as well. And so I hope, as I said, home advantage definitely will suit our boys. So all I want to say is, hopefully our guys will put up a show, some competitive cricket, so that the cricket-loving public will love the cricketers even more. Because these days they're getting a lot of slack in social media and media. So it's high time these boys go out there and do what they know to do.
Well, the only thing they can do is to reply to those critics with the bat and the ball. Thanks a lot, Farveez. Thank you for taking the time out for us.
Cheers, Vikram. Thank you.
स्पोर्ट्स से जुड़ी किसी भी अपडेट के लिए स्पोर्ट्स तक को सब्सक्राइब करें और हमारे फेसबुक और इंस्टाग्राम पेज को भी जरूर फॉलो करें।